Hello, welcome to the Friday the 13th episode of Low Code Campfire. This is episode number 175. If it had been 113, I'd been really scared. But anyway, we're going to call it an Open Lines Friday instead of a Triskaidekaphobiac episode, but we're glad that you're here. This is an event that we do every week or most weeks. We'll cover our holiday schedule in a minute, and this is an opportunity for us to just get together, talk about low code in general, Plant an App in specific, the problems and issues that you're facing, and the fun things that you're developing. We do it every Friday, and yeah, that's what it's all about. I didn't introduce myself. I'm making jokes and stuff, but I'm Dale Warner, head of support for Plantain App, joined capably by Patrick Anderson, who has also been filling in for me these last couple of weeks. So I appreciate that. Anyway, this event is open to everyone, all skill levels, whether you're a beginner, an expert, or somewhere in between. We'd love for you to participate. We record all of these, put them on YouTube, so you can get to them at youtube.com/plantanap. So what we have 174 hours of very good conversation. You should definitely listen to all of them. We pull from this agenda. We always stop and introduce ourselves and say hello, and then because we are a friendly group, and then beyond that, we go around the campfire and always hit first call anything that you've submitted in advance and talk about some of the other things like our community website or our campfire website, things like that. So do jump in, engage with us, show and tell what you're working on. You can submit questions and topics in advance, either by using this QR code. It'll get you to a nice Google form where you can tell us what you'd like to see, or you can send an email to support@plantanap.com and we'll get that on the list. Hello, everyone. You can tell I'm a little rough at this.
Oh,
Good
good morning.
morning.
Hello,
Hey, Mo.
everybody.
All right. Did somebody come with a first call, something that we can deal with right away?
I have a quick question. Was wondering, is there a way to search through a website for a particular thing um in a Planet App form? The issue I have is that I'm upgrading a site and it relies on APIs. And the API calling structure changed in 1.26. It doesn't use the long path anymore. It uses a shorter path and doesn't support the long path. So they all have to change. And I'm wondering, did I get them all?
So there are, um, yeah, there are things that we can suggest. This contribution here, global search and replace, we've talked about this specifically in that context. Um,
Ah,
so this global search and replace it'll let you search your SQL database for anything. It might take a little while, especially if you've got a larger database, but it'll let you search for any string. So you can use this to search for the string and at least establish that you've gotten them all. If it turns up a result, you can, and actually, I think let's dig into this one for just a second. Um, we talked about this in one of our episodes, so maybe I could find where we recorded this because it is possible to actually do the search and replace, especially if you have a backup. It'll make you can say change this string to that string, and I've used it for that, and it's changing it at the database level rather than having to go into the form or
Doesn't it?
workflow.
I thought that it gives you the queries that you can run and then you can run them.
It does,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
great. And you can see we said, use with extreme caution because
Mm.
the search is safe to run, but it creates update SQL. So let's see if I can find that. Anybody else have suggestions on this?
Go ahead, Ben.
No, I usually always have something to say. Um, if you would like, Don, I have a um, application that I wrote. I call it the code search, and it actually searches throughout your application for my tokens, API endpoints, entities, custom code, conditions, descriptions, whatever you want. It gives you all the results in a grid of everywhere where it found that thing that you're looking for. And then in that grid, you have two different ways. You can either click on the tab location, which would then open up the page in a new tab, or you can click on the module, which is another link, and that would actually open up the module in editing mode in a new tab. It tells you what action you find it in. It tells you the event type, the action ID number, if there is one, um, and the description and everything, so that you can find exactly where in that form or in the grid or wherever it is that you need to change.
Holy cow, that sounds wonderful.
If you
The
want, I can show you.
Yeah, well, certainly I would. I don't want to take over the meeting with this because I'm sure there's other questions, et cetera. Plus, you put your hand up and I didn't, so you should continue on. But I'll ask another quick question, more on a sarcastic note. But where's that exchange that we were talking about? Because that sounds like a moneymaker, that tool you've got.
I think
Um,
actually didn't Ben, didn't you post that on Campfire?
he posted an old.
Paul,
Not sure that the older version works with the newer version. Yeah.
Ah,
Drew, I had to make a lot of changes for Plantinap, but I don't recall if I put this whole thing up. Yep, code
Yep, there it
search.
is. Yeah, I thought it
So
was here.
I'll have to update that because I'm up to version 3.7 right now. Yeah, that's version 3, looks like, and it's all wonky. Well, that's the bootstrap stuff, but yeah, the new version works with I'm running version 1.25 at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works with Plantinap, and like I said, it also adds in workflows, which at the time that I wrote the original code search didn't exist. So
well,
Ben,
fantastic. So I've got two options here. I mean, not two options, but two tools. If you updated the code search, would be wonderful. But of course, I still have the global search and replace, so I could just at least search. That's the big thing is worrying that I missed one. So if I were to be able to just do a search and oh yeah, that page, I forgot all about it because there are a lot of individual pages and there's two or three pages per function and that kind of thing. So there's a bunch of them. I didn't want to miss them. Um,
on on that note, I'll first of all, I've put it in the chat. The both the YouTube of where we talked about it some months ago and to the contribution itself. On that contribution, a nice thing about that, I've also used that to find, you're looking for a piece of data that's somewhere in your system. It doesn't have to, I mean, it can be any string, not just related to Plantinap. And so I've used this looking for data values and things like that. So it's a useful tool in and of itself. Beyond that, Ben, if you are inclined to show that, I think that would be a great use of our time, but I don't want to put you on the spot.
yeah, sure, I have no problem.
Well, let me know when you're ready. Other than if you want a few minutes, we can talk about other things, but if you're ready, I'll pass you the baton.
Second, and I'm good when you are.
Take it away.
Minimize some stuff here. Okay, screen. This one. Okay. Do you see code search?
uh-huh.
We do?
All right. So I just did a basic search. I mean, depending on what you're looking for and how big your site is, this could take a little bit of some time to uh, spit out the results. but it depends on what you select up here. And this is dynamic based off of what's installed. Now, granted, if you have Plant and App right now, for the most part, you have everything, but I had written this back for the DNN Sharp days. So this is a dynamic list that will only show the items that you have installed on your system. For example, if you don't have API, you wouldn't see that. And if you didn't have Plant and App, you wouldn't see entities, so forth and so on. If you click on My Tokens, it gives you a list of all of the token um, namespaces. Excuse me, I couldn't think of the word. You select the namespace, and it's going to give you a list of the tokens. The reason I do this is just to kind of prevent typos and stuff like that, so that it looks for exactly the correct spelling. And there's a bunch of other different ways that a token can be stored in the tables. So it looks for each individual instance of the way you can specify a token. For example, you can specify a token with just bracket token name bracket. You could do bracket the token name parenthesis with parameters parenthesis bracket. So there are different ways to call it. So this makes sure that it finds all the relevant ways. And then once you, well, just to show you too, you have your APIs, which lists all the APIs that you have. You could click on entity, same thing, namespaces, and then the table name. Custom code, that will find basically anything. You have a SQL statement and you're looking for a specific word in a SQL select that you know exists somewhere. You can put whatever the text is in there. It's going to search all the code. If you just want to limit to conditional statements, so you're like, I know I put a condition that uses the following logic or the following field name, you can just search for conditions. And if you just want to limit to a description, and you could say, I know I created an action, and in the description, I use the following word, you can do that as well. But whatever it is that you select, you hit search. Once you do that, this list will come up, shows you every location where it found it. And like I said, if you click on this, it's going to actually open up the page that it's on. In this case, it's API. If you click here, it's actually going to open up the module itself. That's an API, so that's bad. Hold on. That was a bad one to show as an example. Let's say, here's an idea of showing you. It might be, like I said, a little slow because it's got a lot of stuff to look through. But so here's the page. This actually shows you the page with the entire path. And for example, if I click here, it's actually going to open it up in a new tab right into the edit mode of that module. Now you go back to the original and it's telling you the parent field is application. It's an actual field. So you're going to go into the fields. You're going to see application. You open that and it's telling you the location is on the input data. So for example, what I was looking for is the is installed.
Nice.
Holy cow. If I understand this correctly, if I were to choose APIs, it would show me all of the places where the API is called.
So for
And it would,
example, if I, let's see, if I did this guy, oops, I just did a clear. Let's search. I think I'm using this one. Yeah, there you go. So this is the only place that it's there, that it's used in, but immediately I can, keep doing that. I can click on this. It automatically opens in a new tab by default. And it's telling you right here, the parent field is in the init.js. So if I go to the settings, I know that's where the init.js is, and I'm looking for the EDM status. Right there.
wow. Well, that's exactly what I need. That is wonderful.
And I did it this way without a replace only because for me at least, there's lots of times where, yeah, I need to find every section, but I don't necessarily want to do a replace because potentially each section does have a little bit of a difference in how it's called or how the code is written. I may just need to make a little modification to maybe one or two spots. So I don't want to replace every location with a new calling method or whatever, or a new type of code because it could break other things. So I figured this is the safer way. Just show you every location it's in, try to give you as much information to locate within that form where to find it. And then at that point, leave it up to you to make whatever adjustments you need to make. Once,
Wow.
if you're searching for something that you're going to replace and get rid of. So for example, let's say you were looking for a description and let's say the description was the word deprecated and you find all the places where you have deprecated code. When you delete it, if you refresh this, then it deletes off of the grid. So you've addressed that issue. And then
Exactly.
once it's all gone and the grid is empty, you're done.
I'm guessing you use this all the time.
Mm-hmm. I built this actually because I was so used to working in Visual Studio. And in Visual Studio, actual, down to the code level, when you create a method and you use it in other locations, you can go to the original method, right click on the name and say, show me all locations where this is used, and it gives you a list. And I love that feature because it helped me track whenever I make a change to a parent that, let's say, needs a new parameter. And now I have to modify every single call to that method so that I add the new parameter in the call. I know exactly where I need to fix it. And there wasn't anything quite like that. So I built this to kind of mimic that idea.
That is
Yeah, you
really
guys
nice,
should put
Ben.
this in version 127. You should buy this from Ben. All I can do is offer you some Norwegian Christmas bread in exchange. I have just baked a bunch of loaves. I don't have any code to exchange, but this would be wonderful to have. And it would be what do you call it? A great peace of mind for uh, for going through and cleaning up all of those changes. It's first of all, it's some code that I didn't write, so I'm not as familiar as the code that I do write. Kind of pretty much remember where I put things, but when I don't do it in the first place, I'm nervous that I'm going to break something and never be able to find it. So
By the way, which screen did I share here? Are we seeing contributions listing or something else?
Yeah,
yes,
Yes.
contributions.
Good. Um, yeah, so uh, I can't even offer you Norwegian bread, Ben, but if I can help, if you decide that you want to repost that and you need any assistance in doing that, I will raise my hand to help with the labor of that. Beyond that, I will tell you that I was advocating today. I just came from a management meeting, and I was advocating again for the marketplace because I feel strongly that if developers could sell their wares on a product, that's a benefit for us and for you, and it would be um, cooperative, but we're not there yet. So Ben, you still have your hand raised from before?
Actually, new one.
Yeah.
I have a question. Um, if there's nothing else with regards to Don's question.
nope, I'm good. What's your
Okay.
address so I can send you the bread?
Um, so I don't typically send data from one application or one form to another using anything other than like query strings or information stored in a table. However, today I've come across a situation where I'm looking to not necessarily display it in the URL. I don't really feel like it's not data that really needs to be stored in a table because that's just going to be, a hit going across the network to the SQL server. That's just really not necessary. So I was thinking of either using a cookie or a session variable, and can't seem to get it to work. Like the data doesn't seem to store and get retrieved from one form to the next. Just really quick, the way I'm doing this is I have a grid with a button. The button pulls up a pop-up form. The pop-up form has literally one text box. You type in something in that text box, you hit submit. That submit button stores the information as a cookie, or at least should, and then it pops up a grid. The grid in its data source pulls out as one of the bound parameters the cookie value and passes it into its own SQL statement to then be used. But I get no data. It's not passing that value over.
And regardless of it's not value dependent. You could put a one character thing and it's just not passing the value.
Right. I mean, it's literally it's a 5-digit number that I'm putting in right now, and I'm just getting nothing back. If I manually insert that number in there, I get the data, but if I do it through the cookie, nothing.
So the reason I asked the question is that I have a dim memory of experience where the content of a cookie it's possible to define something that won't save or doesn't save as expected. So although that's been years. And then the thing that stands out about what the scenario you said, it's you're doing a pop-up form and then going on to a pop-up grid. Is that correct? Ben, are you still there?
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I said correct. I guess I didn't.
Yeah, it got clipped, I guess. Noise
Oh,
suppression
okay.
is working, I guess. But uh, um, and so um, it makes me wonder whether cookie is a browser side thing. So you're have you done it? Have you tried session as well?
Uh, and it's the same issue.
Okay. Um, Patrick, any thoughts?
Not yet.
And I can show the screen as well if a visual helps make it a bit more understandable.
Um, I think I understand the problem, but maybe showing it might we might get ideas about things you can try. So if
Have
you're
you been
inclined,
checking to see that the cookie's been actually created using the browser to check?
I did, and I don't see the cookie being created.
I think I'd start there.
yes. You wanna show us, or you want me
Yeah,
to?
I could share.
Okay, I will get out of the way again. That's a great question, though, as far as exploring cookie creation.
So right here, this is my starting point. This is the button that starts the process. Just to show you, this is the form. Very simple. It's just this batch ID text box. The submit button, all it does is it puts the cookie in. I even tried to give it an expiration because I don't want the cookie to last forever. So I gave it like a 30-second to whatever the current date time is. but it's just basically giving name, batch IDs, value, and expiration. After that, it pops up the grid and then it closes this form. So that's all this does. And then this is the grid where in here, it's just pulling out the cookie based off of the name. Pretty simple. I have this guy here. Open and actually make sure it's on the right page. So inspect,
Yep.
application. All right, so these are the cookies. So if I click here and I say, okay, 6, 5, no data, come back here, refresh this. Batch IDs never shows up as a cookie. And it hasn't been 30 seconds yet.
Yeah. Can you show us your core token again, please? I'm sorry, the set. So you're doing cookie set, name equals batch ID. So name equals name value expires. Okay. Two things that I would suggest. Let's and maybe we just leave this alone and we add another set here. But I would do two things. One is to use the simplest form without so cookie set name equals value. I'm taking this directly out of the
Without the expires?
yeah, so let's do it without the expires. And hang on, yeah. So name is batch IDs, value equals. And let's yes, and on the value, let's put any other character, maybe at the end of, put a comma at the end of the bracket just to see if we get anything. For some reason, batch IDs is blank. So, nope. Within the quotation marks, just put any other character. So, yeah, an X. I don't care. Obviously, it's not this. Yes, thank you. And the other thing is there is a set cookie token. So we might try two things at once here if you want. So another.
I did initially, I did the set cookie one.
Uh-huh.
And then I went and I looked in and I like, where was it? Yeah, I was looking in here, and initially I did this and I was like, oh, set cookie. So I was using set and then get or cookie. But then when I looked at cookie itself, I saw that there was this.
Right, and all I'm saying is testing to see whether set cookie gives us a different result. And
Ben, for what it's worth, I've used set cookie quite a bit. Also, the other thing that I've done is instead of giving it a date for expiration, you can set non-persistent equals true, which then makes the cookie itself evaporate after the user logs out or changes browser screens.
so now it's just an equal sign value, and so you get rid of so equal value to set. Yep, maybe YY or no, you needed a different cookie here so that it
Right,
doesn't.
that's what I was gonna do.
Yeah, all right.
Say that.
Great.
You're also missing a closing. Oh, no, you're not. Sorry.
Yep. So let's see if
Doesn't
either of those do anything.
doesn't the name and the value have to be in double quotes, not single quotes?
No, you can use different. It should be able to use different any of the delimiters or even no delimiter. So I don't see any problem with that. We can explore that if we see problems. None. Do it here.
So
Both of them. So
Uh-huh.
it could be the cookie set is broken.
Yeah.
no, it's the expires, it looks like. Because this is the cookies, this is the cookie set. This one is the set or cookie. Or set
Right.
cookie,
Oh,
rather.
that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
where's the orig? Oh, yeah, let's go back to
Yeah,
cookie.
that's it. The orig is the one that has the original, the expires on it.
Uh-huh.
So try putting an expiration into the set cookie, just to see if it works. So that's a set cookie key, and then put the expires equals into a into parenthesis.
You want me to paste that? There you
Oh,
got it.
you got it, yeah.
I don't, isn't it? Key. Oh no, sorry. The expires is first, and then
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Put a simple date like tomorrow, yeah. And then continue to work.
should be it, right?
Yeah, we got to figure out maybe how to differentiate or delete that other cookie before you do it, just to make sure we're not seeing the same thing again.
I know there's a cookie remove.
Well,
Hopefully it works.
We shall see. Actually, let me do this first. Okay. Hold on. Get rid of the number 2.
and there they are, and one of them, what's the expires looks like? Yep, tomorrow.
Next year. Did this one go? Oh, because this one doesn't have. Sorry, this one had no expired. This is the one
Yes.
that I think we set up with the expiration.
Okay. Do you mind pasting your original, the original one? Well, let's see. Cookie set works. So we don't have a bug with cookie set. It's with the,
I'm curious if it's the formatting. So let me see, because this is the format that it says it needs it in. So what if I add the rest? So say time. It is now 11. So let's say 11. 50. 0, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, Ben, you can just right click and delete the cookies right from your F12 screen.
Oh, right from here?
Yep,
yes.
just right click on the cookie you want to get rid of.
Well, thank you. Learn
No
something new
worries.
every day. Running around doing stuff I don't need to be doing. All right. here.
And now
Hey,
it
come
does
on.
have,
Oh, it doesn't want to get bigger.
you can shrink the value perhaps, but you are seeing 1150. So
Hmm.
something about your time formatter might be getting you.
Interesting, because I know I tested it and it was working.
We also have datetime relative now, which is another.
Hmm. I was about to mention that too.
I mean,
If you take that result and
these are big ones.
push it directly into the,
Well, that's a 30-second, so by the time I get it in there,
you can
just
bump it
modify it.
manually. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just say 39.
Yep.
Save.
All right.
There is something about the
So
way
looking
it's.
at your original statement, is there something about the quotation marks that are getting interpreted? You got double quotes around that one about around date format. So, man, you would expect that to work. Oh, we're working on set cookie, and the other one was cookie set. It was not working.
Yeah,
So
but this is the one that I put the expires on, and when I did it with just the date, it took it. And then when I
it
did it
took
with
that one
all
too.
zeros,
Didn't it take that one too?
wait, two? I don't I don't think so. No, it's not showing up now.
Oh.
When I pasted in the date time that my system generated, but there's nothing special about it.
So
Year, month,
maybe
day,
just
time.
maybe remove the fraction. You're also going to have to adjust your minutes again. 45, whatever. Ooh,
That's a new one. Oh, because it's expecting a number,
well,
and
let's
now
look
the
at
grid is
maybe.
crashing.
Oh,
No, I guess not. Well, actually, let me get rid of the X's because that might be causing an issue now.
let's see if we have some other any other. Okay.
Just do new date again. Let's make that 45, like you said. No, it doesn't like it with the expires. If you put a time, no, but I put a time in there before? I did, but I did it with all zeros. I did that. Hours, minutes, seconds. So it doesn't like, and it has to have the fraction, but it has to be all zeros. That's what it seems like.
Well, if it's working, then, you know.
I'm curious if I
Hmm.
change this. Actually, let's do it this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now batch ID 2 is still not going. It's only batch ID 1. Batch ID original. Something to do with this expiration. Although strangely enough, now this time it didn't want to put it in.
I thought in your cookie display you only got the middle one. I didn't think you got for the last couple of times.
This one, I thought this one came out when I put it all zeros. It didn't. Actually, you know what? Easy way to tell. Why don't I, well, easier way to tell. IDs make this 2. Because then the grid, if this doesn't go through, the grid's gonna have no data and crash. Crash, but show no data. Oh, I should have deleted the cookie first. Son of a gun. Now 2 is shown. Yeah, oh, right. That's expected. But- okay. Cookies. Page. Make sure there's still no cookies. Did not
Yeah, we
take.
might be past your, are we still hard coding the time?
Yeah. See, I took it from here. It said the expires is in ISO 8160 format, so that's what I took. Year, month, day, T, hours, minutes, seconds, dot, fraction. And the fraction is 6. Year, month, day, T, hours, minutes.
Yeah, but you're looking at cookie versus set cookie. There's set cookie has a different, is completely different code on best betting. So I don't think you're
Oh,
guaranteed to be all that
be
sure.
that it could it
Yeah,
be it
so
doesn't take time at all?
I, I don't know if it takes more, but it's expecting a day. I mean, it's a different.
Then what if I change this back?
I just managed to do something I think that is accomplishing what you're looking for, I believe, but
Yeah, it's not taking it. What did you do, Patrick?
I used the datetime relative token with the add equals 30 seconds with a pipe O, which puts it into ISO format. And it created a cookie that expires in 30 seconds.
Maybe you can just paste that on the clipboard
Yeah.
on the chat.
Chat. Where'd my chat go? Oh, I had it up already. So I'm sorry I didn't use your same cookie name and everything, but
Yeah, that worked for me for a cookie. Nice, Patrick. And after 30 seconds, it went away out of the browser.
yeah, same here. It happened to me too.
And it didn't work for mine.
What was the name of your cookie that you were supposed to be putting in there?
Just regular batch IDs.
Cookie
Batch IDs
batch
2 showed up, but
Yeah.
not this one.
Do you, what version do you have? This is a relatively recent.
125.
Well, relative isn't recent, right? It's the change of oh, maybe that pipe O is
Relative.
also. What were you gonna say, Dale?
I can run it and see.
Yeah, let's.
The ability to do a relative with an input value. So see, it did do something there, right? Yeah.
Looks like it added 30 seconds. I mean, it's got this at the end of it.
Yeah, in my browser, that translated to it didn't put that in there, just put a Z. It's it looks like it's yeah, it's UTC. The value is UTC, and then it has a Z at the end.
So mine doesn't have a Z. This is interesting.
Oh wow, fascinating.
Here's the value that I'm getting, and it worked. I put it on the chat.
Weird. It's like we're all getting different values from the same.
Yeah, depending on I think the well,
That's what I got.
DNN settings. Anyway, I'm looking up relative to
From a few minutes ago, obviously.
And just to show you, like this compared to mine, like oops, that's not what I wanted. I created my own that you guys saw. I'll just show you really quick. Because sometimes I had such an issue getting this relative to work. So I just made something that was a little bit easier to understand, and it just takes whatever. If I don't give it a date time, it takes the current date time, add seconds to it, the value of 30. This is the date format that I want returned. Granted, the fractions are a little off. So okay, so wait, this one is bringing back 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There is 6 loaded here. 6. But the O brings back 7 fractions. So I'm wondering if that might be it. If I add another F here. Okay, so now I get the 7.
It's odd that that it didn't work at all though. That's when if you run that in the studio, what happens if you run that entire
Oh,
the entire token, the set cookie token.
then I have to do a get to
No,
see that.
put some values into the batch IDs. It's
No, I know I'm saying, but I have to do a get to see that if it went in, right?
no, just
Or
go back and check your
Oh, that's true.
Yep. That's
batch
bizarre.
ID didn't save.
Hmm.
Instead of using, oh, you might put the format string, start with your month day and then start adding to it. So, why
Although this is wrong, just so you guys know, it's capital
yes,
M's.
well, it's an example. It's not it's not a string, right? It's not a format string. Yep. I'm sorry, did batch
That's it.
IDs work?
Relative 30 seconds, year, month, day. That's all I did. Year, month, day,
Did
and
that
doesn't
one
take
work?
it. No, it doesn't go by page, does it? The cookies? It goes by website, correct?
Right, by website, yeah. Yeah, you should be able to
Like on any page that adds it, it should show up here.
right, yeah, it should, yeah.
Yeah, because I kind of figured because I'm like, this just says cookies used by the website. But yeah, it's not showing. And you can see it's updating here.
So just out of curiosity, inspect your tokens page. I don't think it'd be any difference, but it's worth to just do an inspect here and see if you have a cookie.
Oh.
No, okay. That is really weird because if that is working, I even changed my cookie name to batch IDs just to.
So, since we're coming on to the hour, I'll just
Yep.
suggest I mean, Mark's original thing, did you really set a cookie, was the problem. Trying to figure out the right combination to set, and I understand, for example, that you want to set you want it to expire, finding one that expires well for you. And I'm sorry, Matt's suggestion that non-persistent equal true, using the non-persistent variation, is just going to go away when the browser closes.
The other thought, Ben, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know the full context of your application needs here, but if you set the non-persistent to be true, and then when your batch is done and retrieved, just simply go delete the cookie. So you've got two things. One, it's going to expire when their browser session expires. And then two, if that doesn't happen soon enough, then you'll simply get rid of it by deleting it.
Beyond that, you should be able to do all this with session as well, and session isn't a round trip to the browser. Right? When you're doing set cookie, it's got to influence the browser. It's nice because you get to see what's going on, but
Right.
it,
Initially, that's what I did. I did it as session because I
Yep.
figured I didn't even want it to appear in the browser. But then since that wasn't working, I was like, let me just try cookie. And then
yes,
for the
this
life
is
of me, I
down the
can't
path.
get cookie
I
working.
think the expiration is now, does session, I can't remember, session allow expiration? I'm trying to,
No,
it's just, it is going,
that's
you'd
one of the
think
reasons I like the cookie too, because I was like, well, at least I can
have
time it to
control
go
over it.
away.
Yep. But, yeah. But you could put it on your closed grid, for example, or somewhere else, or just realize that it's, yeah. But even session, I mean, behind the scenes, session is doing a SQL call round trip, right? So there is no cost-free mechanism for passing this. Cool.
Sorry for eating up the entire time
No,
over
no,
a
I mean,
cookie question.
It's
well,
interesting.
it is, and you know, brings, yeah, it
So
means real stuff we all have to deal with.
on a simple related question, so Ben, your app went from pop-up form to a pop-up grid. What did you do to link those two?
Link them.
Well, to make the action, how did you pop up the grid after you? Not the more of a design question because I have times I want to do that. I've never done that.
Well, one thing that I have noticed is you can only have one pop-up of a particular type on a page at any given time. So you can't do a pop-up form that opens up a pop-up form or a grid that opens up a pop-up grid that opens up a pop-up grid. That won't work. But if you mix the two, you can. So this button just does the action of open form in pop-up. And then since there's in at least the version that I have, there is no open grid in pop-up action, but there is the JavaScript. So I said I did the run JavaScript action and I pasted in there the JavaScript code to open the grid in pop-up.
And that's in the submit button on that pop-up form.
Yeah, so here and then in this submit,
Okay.
it does the pop-up, and I'll show you. Right here, oops, that does the close. This is this is what does the open pop-up.
So you're opening
Okay.
one and closing the other right immediately.
Yep.
I'd be surprised that there's not an open action that you have to use that. I would,
This?
yeah, hit add and type pop up.
Yeah, I checked. There's none for there's tabs and forms, but there's none for grid.
Yeah, correct.
Grid has to be done through
Java.
JavaScript.
That was a hot fix in 125. I think there may be an update available for you that would give you that because I think that was available in 125. But
Double check. Um, yeah, I guess I still have to play with this. I don't understand. As soon as I add in and expires, it flips out.
and I did go and test those same both. I got it to work with cookie set also, and I went and tested both of those in 1.25 on our QA site, Dale, and they both worked.
Well, since it's to the hour, I'm going to call it here,
Yep.
but we can hang around and talk about this all day if you want. Thanks for joining us for Low Code Campfire for Friday the 13th. It turned out to be a very lucky discussion. And we will do this one more time this year, next week, and then we're going to take a couple of weeks off. So see you then. Thanks, everyone. Hang on for Afterglow.